It's a very serious problem. I mean, honestly, what they're doing to this country, they're destroying our country, Aiden. They're destroying stupid people. He's not a smart man. He wasn't smart 35 years ago. He wasn't smart 20 years ago. And now he's really not smart. No. And you saw that from the debate. I mean, he's really gone down the tubes. And she is, look, she couldn't even pass her law exam. She couldn't pass her bar exam. And I'm not saying that because I know other people didn't pass their bar exam, but she thought she'd never be able to pass it. And this is who we have running our country. It's a shame. She's ultra-left, ultra-radical. I just see where 99 vicious terrorists, when she was, I guess, Attorney General, because she was Attorney General of California, she destroyed California. Her policies have destroyed California. Her policies, when she was the district attorney, have destroyed San Francisco. San Francisco was the best city in our country 20 years ago, and now it's, not even, frankly, it's not even livable. We have to bring our cities back. We're going to have to focus on bringing our cities back.
It's actually really sad. You know, I lived in California for a long time. Even Los Angeles, it's not safe. It's not safe. Everyone I know that lives in multi-million-dollar, homes that do what I do, content, they're getting robbed. They're getting robbed. The police don't really, they're not active out there as they are in some other states, and it's really sad. And I agree. I saw a video in San Francisco where people just walk into a Louis Vuitton and an Apple store and just loot, and leave like nothing ever happened. It's crazy.
They loot, and not only that, they have like $1,000 or $1,500 where she started, where she won't even prosecute if it's less than $1,500.
Wow.
So you see these people go in with like calculators, and they're adding the stuff that they're stealing because they won't be prosecuted.
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
Have you ever been affected by car breaking or know anyone that has?
Yeah, so when I lived in Noe Valley for a year, I had street parking. My car got broken into 3 times. And in addition, by the Palace of Fine Arts, which is kind of by the water over there, I've actually just seen a break-in in front of me happen, and it's very fast. Happens all the time.
Well, as you guys saw, Donald Trump was in a live stream, and it was a viral moment since not many of us thought that he would ever do something like this. Although the streamer here is actually a big fan of Donald Trump's. On the other end, Donald Trump's son, Barron, told his father that it would be wise to show up and connect to younger voters through this medium. I mean, you also saw how California was being transformed through all these woke policies, right? So policies that Kamala Harris herself has defended and even pushed for. But before we get any deeper into this, all I ask is that you guys take a second, hit the like button, make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for sharing this video. And I should also probably tell you that Donald Trump was given a Rolex and a custom Tesla Cybertruck on this stream, which was pretty cool. So the stream got almost 600,000 viewers at its peak, and that's just tip of the iceberg, because these clips, they will live on the internet for good, like for everybody to see. And with the time that we have left until the 2024 presidential elections, it's something that Donald Trump really needs. In fact, that's because they expect to see at least 16 million young Americans vote in their very first presidential election, a demographic that both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are trying to persuade. We know this with Kamala Harris and Megan Thee Stallion, but what do the youth think?
Donald Trump and just the conservative side more generally is much more respective of open debate, free speech, tolerance overall of different perspectives and different viewpoints, which is a fundamental American value.
We asked young voters at an RNC event why they'll be voting Republican this November.
Right, if you're a young American who wants the American dream, you will look to people who have achieved the American dream themselves. And I think that's why a lot of young Americans who may not be your traditional, Republican-leaning voters who, would in a different era be traditional Democrats, they're inspired by folks like Donald Trump or Elon Musk, or because they like the image of ambition and opportunity and the hope and optimism that figures like that bring, like Reagan once brought or Kennedy once brought in a different era.
I mean, I think I am leaning more right now. I definitely am in the middle though. I agree with things on both sides definitely, but I only see the Republican Party working on the crime right now.
And that's not the end of it, guys. Many analysts are pointing to California as kind of a measuring stick. The claim is that the United States will become a lot more like Cali if Kamala Harris is voted into the White House. Are any of you guys in favor of that? Because the people of California don't think that this is a good idea.
California's image will be a weapon if Kamala Harris faces Donald Trump this year. It goes on to read, Trump will almost certainly claim that electing Harris would visit those California conditions on the nation as a whole, with illegal immigration perhaps being the most powerful potential issue in those decisive states. Good.
Yeah, those of us in California know just how much of a disaster Kamala Harris is, how far left and extreme she is. For the rest of America, if you're wondering, you can do two things. You can do some research, or you can ask the Californian who fled this state and moved in down the street from you. Right. Why did you leave? What they will tell you is that Kamala Harris and her ideology brought us the highest cost of living in the nation, a record number of homeless people. We have a massive crime surge, mainly because of her policies, not only as DA in San Francisco, a crime wave in San Francisco. She was the original George Soros type prosecutor that he modeled after, but she supported Prop 47, Prop 57, took away tools from prosecutors and police to arrest criminals, and then released these very same criminals onto the streets for good behavior. All of that happened while she was Attorney General, and we're now suffering the consequences.
It was under her that Prop 47 was named the Safe Neighborhoods and Safe Schools Act. And we're like, well, we love that. I mean, that's got to be great, right?
Puppies and unicorns. Who wouldn't vote for that?
Right.
Wow. George Soros originally sponsored, really. But here's what we have to take away from all this. So mainstream media wants us to forget all about her California record. Forget it. She claims to be proud of her work as a prosecutor, but they're not going to get into the numbers so that Trump can criticize it in debate. And if any of you guys are wondering, no, Kamala Harris hasn't done an interview since she was subbed in by the Democratic Party as their presidential nominee. Meanwhile, you got Donald Trump in places that don't even like him just to get the NABJ appearance that he made. He was under a lot of fire, but he didn't avoid going there just because he knew he'd be criticized. In fact, it was Kamala Harris who rejected their invitation. And yet, the Kamala Harris campaign is calling Donald Trump a coward for not agreeing to debate her on ABC News. A debate that was actually slated for Donald Trump and President Joe Biden. Now, Trump, on the other hand, is now firing back and basically saying that Kamala Harris is afraid to debate him on Fox News. Nice one, Trump. He claims that it's going to be a cakewalk and it'll be easier compared to his debate with President Joe Biden. Now, at this point, we're all just waiting on them to agree on a network. But what do you guys think about this? Will Kamala Harris be an easier foe for Donald Trump on the debate stage? Or will she surprise us and not laugh at all the questions this time around? Now, something that's not a laughing matter is what recently happened with the stock market. A huge crash that Kamala Harris is now running from as she knows the questions are coming. And like I said, guys, she's avoiding getting any kind of tough questions. So it's going to be some time before we hear anything from her about this. Now, again, I did a previous video where I talk about this and how it's convincing a lot of voters to vote for Donald Trump this coming November. Make sure you guys check that one out. As always, thanks so much for liking the video, for subscribing, and for sharing this video. I'll see you on the next one.